With James Peak. James, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, you bet. In another special role for the military. I saw you at the GI Film Festival and the barbershop one, and now you're doing this one. That's wonderful.
Right. No, I love doing them. They're great. Great fun.
So tell me how you got involved initially in this movie, The Flag.
Dave Alspach, who's the writer and the lead character, it's basically about him. He and I are friends for a long time, and we've been talking about doing this together for probably 2 or 3 years. And it's funny, we always tried, it never quite got together, but once Dave got re-involved in the, I'd say the Legion Hall and the guys, you know, and all of a sudden he meets George Ohan, and George all of a sudden winds up at the LA Film School. And then all of a sudden they love the script over there, and the students are on hiatus, and they can get credit for doing it. So the whole thing finally worked. It came together. So we said, yeah, man, let's shoot this thing. And John Duffy, who we love, is normally very busy, but he had a couple of weeks to do this. And we have X Ybarra, who is the Xavier, who is the cinematographer on this thing. So it's a terrific crew, and the people from the film school are just anxious to work and learn.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, as George tells them, classrooms are great, they're perfect, you got to have them, but there's nothing like being on the field and having to shoot when you don't have this, that, and the other thing, and you got to invent it on the run. So they're learning.
Actual real life experience, right?
It absolutely is. It's the most valuable one you can get. You can't learn this stuff in school, you've got to get out and film.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know, I first met you at the GI Film Festival, but I know you've been acting for quite a while.
Yeah, I did from years ago in New York and Boston, and mostly New York for the theater stuff. And then there was an interruption in that part of my life, and I went back home and dealt with family and business stuff, which I loved doing, was more than happy to do. But it took me out for about 15 years or so. And I finally found myself in a position to come back into this, but rather than going to New York and getting involved in the theater again, I said, look, at this point in my life, what I'd really like to do is make a bunch of films and have some decent character stuff that I could leave behind. That's what I love doing.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic. I know you said you were Broadway and such, so you can sing and dance and the whole bit?
I can fake it. The nice thing about a lot of the stuff that I did in New York is that it's mostly, yes, I will do this. So you're basically just speaking and changing the register a bit. So that is not really singing, but Yul Brynner made a fortune not singing.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you did all right. So how about the rest of the year and next year? You got some big projects coming on?
No, they're not. No, I wouldn't call them big, but there's a lot of them. I'm happy to say, since March, this is the 4th thing that I've worked on, which is and all. To me, the greatest thing about it is that they're all nice people, and they're 4 different characters, which is very important to me. So it's exploring all these various people that you can pretend you are on camera. That's what I love doing most.
I know I mentioned the GI Film Festival. The response must have been great from that movie and all the other parts you've been doing. Tell us a little bit about that.
You mean the response to the movie, the barbershop movie?
Yeah, the barbershop movie and your character.
The Long Journey Home, the response has been great, and that actually played in a few film festivals in Los Angeles, which is where we pretty much wanted to do our thing. The thought behind this, John Wan, who wrote this nice piece, his thing was, look, let's not make this political, let's make this realistic, and these men and women are in trouble, and if everybody does a little bit, all of a sudden it's not a huge deal anymore. And, this barber, what could he do? Except that he's a vet, he was a Special Forces medic in Vietnam, so he had credibility with these young guys, and they stumbled in to one guy came in to get a haircut, and we're talking back and forth as dialogue, and then it switches back, but it's a new guy who's a street guy, who's probably crack addicted, whatever, and he tells me his story. It's similar, they're all similar. And then, again, there's interaction. Then the third guy comes in who's a little bit older, who lost his house and his family, and he was in the initial Gulf War. And we were all able to relate. In the very end, the change I could make in their lives, while it was minor, was important to them in that closing portion of the film. So we love doing it for that reason. Everybody can contribute.
Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, it was a great movie. And this one, just one more question. And the flag, what kind of personal connection do you have with it? I mean, what emotions does that bring out of you?
Oh, to the flag?
The movie, because it's called The Flag, am I correct?
Oh, the movie. I think the connection is that, again, it tells a GI story who sacrificed everything because he was doing the right thing. And it's about First Amendment rights and all of that. While he fully realizes we have the right to burn that flag, it's just not going to happen if he's standing there, you know? In other words, he'll watch it on TV and go, oh, man, why? But it's his duty, he feels, to honor those that have passed fighting for that flag, to allow this guy, or I shouldn't say allow, but to support this man's right to get up and burn it if he wants to. So it sounds a little weird, but it's not. It really, when you see it, it'll make a lot of sense.
In his presence and basically on his watch, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
Fantastic. You know, Jim, thanks for taking the time. You know, love your work. You know, appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's great to see you again, and thanks a lot.